Yeah, g'day YouTubers, Tinker O'Toole again here with another video. Today we're going to tune up this MS181C. Now, if we turn it round to the side, and it's even written on the cover, don't know whether you can see it, but you got HL and idle. Now, to tune it up, we've attached a tacho, and we should be able to tune it up so we've got an idle of about 2,800 RPM, and this is the low setting, so we'll try and find the sweet spot. It's roughly set in the middle, and this is the high here. So we're going to start the saw up, let it idle, and get the idle right on the RPM. So we'll just start her up. It's about 3,000 RPM, so we'll back that off. A little bit more. $2,820, that's perfect. Now we should be able to adjust the low idle and try and find the sweet spot. You can see how it's dropped off. There's 2.5. Now it's back up to just over 2.8, so I think we'll keep it at about that. 2,820. Now we'll try maximum RPM. See what we've got now. 13,000 RPM, that's good enough for me. Let's just check the throttle response. I think that's pretty good. $2,880 RPM. We'll just do one more throttle response maximum. I think that's pretty good. That ran without any, there was no hesitation, it's all rev right up. that's about it. So we'll bit of noise there on the old table. Look, that's running really good. The only thing that I would say about that revved up to over 13,000 RPM. It was 13,260. I could have made that rev up to probably 14,000, but that would have been turned all the way up, and I'd rather just back it off a little bit. It's only a small saw. I mean, over 13,000 RPM is pretty good. It's idling around 2.8, so that's pretty good also. Throttle response is excellent. There's nothing wrong with it. The only thing that I noticed that when you start it up cold is when you've got you put it in the choke position, and when it fires up, you lift it up into that position, which is like semi-choke. When it starts up, you're better off letting it run for a couple of seconds, just a couple of seconds, 3-4 seconds, then give it a blip, and then it will click into the run position. Just let it idle, even if it's a half a minute, and then you'll find the throttle response will be very, very good. But if you're starting to rev it up really high, really quick, sometimes it can sort of carry on a little bit. It can be a little bit erratic until it slightly warms up. And a lot of motors are like that. They don't give maximum performance until they've just warmed up a little bit. They've just been running for a little bit. So don't expect to start the saw up and flog the guts out of it from being dead cold and to be running perfectly from dead cold. It needs just a little bit of time, even if it's a half a minute, just to warm up, and you'll find out the throttle response will be excellent. So yeah, don't judge the throttle response when it's dead cold. Okay, so I want to briefly recap the procedure using the tachometer and the procedure not using the tachometer. So if we zoom in, you'll see those three settings. The low, which is always closest to the carburettor, the high, and the idle. So you have to set, if we're going to use a tachometer, you set the RPM using the LA, the idle, to 2,800. Sometimes you may want to set it a little bit less because you need to tune the low setting. So let's say that we start off with this this has got limiter caps. So between the lower setting and the higher setting, we put this in the middle. So it's in the middle, and you do this with the high as well. Then what you do is that you rotate this counterclockwise until the RPM drop off, and you note. So let's just say we start at 12 o'clock and we turn it at 10 o'clock. So that's 12 o'clock and that's 10 o'clock, and the RPM's dropping off. Turn it back to 12 o'clock, then keep turning in the opposite direction. So we're turning clockwise now until the RPM starts to go up. Let's just say it's 2 o'clock. Then the sweet spot is around 12 o'clock. Anywhere from 11:30 to 12 o'clock, or anywhere from 11:30 to 12:30, that's going to be your sweet spot between where the RPM decreased and the RPM increased. In the middle, that's your sweet spot. The high setting. The high setting does exactly that. If you screw that in fully clockwise, it'll go maximum RPM, which will be about 14,000. With the tacho, I set it 13,500. That's good enough for me. So having the tacho is quite easy to set your idle, because when you turn this counterclockwise, you will see the RPM drop off on the tacho, and when you turn it clockwise, you'll see the RPM increase. And that's where it's really easy to do with the tacho, that you can find the sweet spot right in the middle. Now, let's assume that you don't have a tacho. Well, the idle, you back off so that it's just ticking over, getting close to stalling, but not quite. Then, if it's close to stalling, it'll be very easy that if you put this in the 12 o'clock position, and that's 12 o'clock sitting there, and you back it that way, anti-clockwise, you'll notice the RPM drop off and nearly stall. So notice, and again, it could be anywhere from 11 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Then turn it back to 12 o'clock and start to go the other way, and the RPM will increase. And again, it's going to be in between the minimum RPM and the maximum RPM. Roughly somewhere in between there, that's a sweet spot. And again, the high setting, you don't have a tacho, So if you don't have a tacho, I'd go in between the lowest setting and the highest setting. And the difference is that when you turn this in fully clockwise and you back it off anti-clockwise, the difference between in and out will be about 3/4 of a turn. So if you put the high setting roughly 2/3 of the way, you'll find out that'll be around 13,000 RPM. Now the idle, you can turn the idle up until the chain starts to move and then back it off a little bit. And your saw should give excellent throttle response, and that's all you need to do. And as I said, make sure that you clean this filter up that's inside. So we took that filter off and cleaned it all up, and everything should be okay. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.